Hi, it's Joey Reynolds with the Reynolds Rap. Did you notice that the Pope took a nap in the middle of his Mass yesterday? Did you see that? Nobody said anything. They didn't want to embarrass themselves or him. But he was nodding out during it was a 2.5 hour Mass. The guy had gone through more changes than Caitlin. I mean, we really have a low tolerance for older people because we don't want to get old. That's what it is. But it happens to the best of us and the worst of us, believe me. I think a lot of us are soldiers from when we went to Catholic school. The nuns used to put us in line, and they really took that ruler out and snapped us into place. I went to a Franciscan school all my life, and whether it was the nuns or the priests, and became a member of the Third Order of St. Francis, which also I was in Assisi. I didn't say I was a sissy. I said I was in Assisi. Difference. I went up to the hill after the earthquake in the great cathedral they built there, and there's a little prayer chapel inside of they call it the portico, and that prayer chapel was built for St. Francis. Built it out of brick, and they built the cathedral around that. Now, a replica of that particular prayer chapel was brought to San Francisco in the 100th anniversary of the St. Francis Church, which is the oldest church in San Francisco. They start counting after the earthquake. That's why it's only 100 years. So this church was right there at Father Junipero era. It was the 8th mission, I think it was, because he had 9 missions that he discovered. He was just canonized yesterday. Now, that prayer chapel was, with the permission of the Pope, put in that cathedral, or it's called a basilica, by Angela Aliotta, whose father was a famous mayor, like LaGuardia was a famous mayor of New York. Mayor Aliotta was the 3-term mayor of San Francisco, and they built the Fisherman's Wharf, and they have Aliotta's restaurant. She's also on the city council. She's a Franciscan and brought these things to St. Francis Church and on Vallejo Street in North Beach in San Francisco, if you're familiar. So, she's a wonderful person who believes in the principles of feeding the poor and taking care of the sick, and also of the elderly and those who are lonely, widows, for instance. It's all very, very scriptural, and these are the Franciscan beliefs. Many people don't know St. Francis was not a priest. He was a brother, and he formed a brotherhood of other workers. They would go to Mass where a priest would say Mass. They were not priests. Most of them were brothers. Brothers are the working bees. They're the ones who make everything happen, and they don't get ordained, and they don't have communion. They don't listen to confessions. They don't do the priest work, but they do all the charity work, And St. Francis also developed that nativity scene that you see every year on all the Christmas cards with the snow in Bethlehem, which is not correct. But he has a donkey and the camel and everybody kneeling in front of the baby Jesus. Now he used a lot of that, like a picture postcard, to give the illustration so that people would realize that Jesus was humble. And this Pope favors the Franciscans, although he's a Jesuit. And the Jesuits and the Franciscans, being order priests, take 3 vows. They take chastity, poverty, and obedience. That's why they don't marry, because of the chastity part. If you didn't take that vow, they can get married. Catholic priests who are in the Byzantine Rite of the Church of Greeks, they get married, and they have children. St. Paul, when he went to Greece after he was converted from Jesus appearing to him on the road after Jesus had been crucified years later, St. Paul went to Greece, and he was teaching the Greeks, and he told them, it doesn't matter whether you're circumcised, not circumcised, whatever your belief is, wherever you were raised to follow those religious rules, follow those religious rules. He was extremely liberal up in his belief, but also very, very firm about following the rules of Jesus, which were to take care of the poor, feed the hungry, and the things that this Pope is doing right now. So that's what makes him great. He's a Franciscan, but he's really ordained as a Jesuit, and they are the intellects of the church by reputation. They also know how to drink scotch. They do pretty well with that. Anyway, that's my little talk. It's a Reynolds Rap. I thought I'd give you a little religious perspective.